Welcome to 28 Days and Beyond, where we're celebrating our history, our heritage, our culture, and our own authentic voice. And today with us on the set, we have Rich on the set. Welcome to the set, Rich.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tell people a little bit about who you are, man, where you grew up at and all those kind of things.
Yeah, so I was born in New York, the Bronx.
Okay.
Spent about half my life there, roughly 8 or 9 years, and then I moved up to Connecticut, Bridgeport.
Okay.
And then bounced around the school system a little bit, found my way to private school, and now I'm here, Villanova.
Well, now, we were just talking off camera, and how were you able to, move from the Bronx to Bridgeport and then bounce around those formative years and developing friends, in that school situation? How was you able to navigate that?
I think I have to pay a lot of respect to my parents in that aspect because they really preached, like, working on myself first, like building up a sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I got to those years where it was like really important to build that core group of friends, I was already good with just being me.
Yeah, that's good.
So at that point, once the bouncing around didn't affect me as much. And then once I got to a school where I stuck in there for a while, which was the private school, Brunswick,
Mm-hmm.
I was good. I was good to go. It was pretty easy to slide in.
So how was it transitioning from public school to the private school?
It was interesting, especially how it happened, because it was a teacher pulled my mom aside, telling her to get my older sister, into private school.
Mm-hmm.
And just from a commuting aspect, it just made more sense to put me down there too. So I just felt like I was being dragged along.
Mm-hmm.
And culturally, it was very different. I went from a predominantly black public school to a predominantly white private school. But again, I think it was, I got to pay a lot of respect to my parents because they just built me up to a point where it didn't bother me as much, or rather, it didn't matter in the same way as you think it might have.
Okay. So let me ask you this. And where you're attending now?
Now I'm at Villanova. Yeah.
Villanova, okay.
In the business school.
In the business school, all these bright people in the business school. So was it a big transition from going from private schools because you went to private school and then coming to Villanova? It wasn't a big jump for you culturally?
Not really. My high school is very similar.
Very similar
to Villanova, in all forms really, just from a educational aspect to a demographic aspect. It was very similar. So I transitioned pretty easily.
So let me ask you this, because I like to get into the social piece. What are some of the social current events that's dear to you or tug at your heart, or that we may see in media and things of that nature? What are some of these current events that's bothersome or you have conversations about?
Well, I think the thing I look forward to, or the thing I look first at when you say that, is the relationship between African American males and the police.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I keep bringing my parents into this. But the way I was brought up, they always kind of showed that to me from a very young age.
Mm.
So I always kind of knew, and not to say other people didn't know. It was always there, regardless of how prevalent it is now. I always kind of knew. So they always kind of taught me to be more aware of my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see that type of stuff, I internalize it kind of differently, as in this is happening again. Not to say it doesn't matter to me, just as a nothing's changed sort of thing.
And I noticed that you're very entrepreneurial too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. So what enlighten people? What made you become entrepreneurial? Where did the inspiration come from? And what are you doing with that skill set that you have?
I can't quite think back to where it started, but I can think most recently. So in high school, I actually started a clothing company, and we ran it for 2 years before my business partner went to a different college. He went to USC, so we kind of disbanded it. But I kind of took that and that experience, and then when I came to Villanova, meeting Aaron, Sheree, and Kai, and they were telling me about their ideas, I was like, oh, I can kind of help with that. And they brought me on board. I'm happy to be on board now, and I mean, we're coming up with some good stuff. Valedictorian, certainly coming soon. I mean, it's just something I like to do. I think it's different. It's different. I like to go against the molds. I like to create things and, start my own stuff.
So y'all breaking a couple barriers, right? Y'all breaking a couple constructs. So people say friends can't be in business together, man. How y'all able to navigate that, when y'all get them little disagreements? How y'all got a hierarchy, a process? Like, yo, man, I'm the final guy, or everybody pick their spots. Expound on that. 'Cause you young guys, man, going to the business. I just want to educate people how they can navigate these things.
I think we make it so that it's a pretty open environment. I think that's the best way to go about it. You have to be open. There's no such thing as a bad idea. You just gotta, if you think something, throw it out on the table, and that's kind of how we've been running it, and it's been working phenomenally up until now. Well, not up until now, but as of now.
Okay.
And yeah, we haven't really come across any disagreements.
Okay.
Just going about that way.
So how are you able to juggle, and what year you're in?
Freshman.
Freshman. Time management. These guys got to be real tight with their time management. How are you able to manage your academic requirements or demands, and then starting a business? Help people understand that dynamic.
I think largely that comes from knowing what you're passionate about, really. And that took time to develop for me, because I was always one to be involved in a bunch of things. But I found my passion to just be in the arts, really, just creating stuff, whether it be musically or fashion, or if it's just one day I'm just drawing. I feel like when you find that passion, you find a way to build time for it. So I'll make time, whether that means I'm sacrificing sleep some nights, or I get to class 5 minutes early and I'm making a design or typing out a beat or something. You make time for it.
So so you making music too?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
A little bit.
Oh my. So with that being said, making music, designing clothes. What do you want your apparel to represent? What kind of precedent and what kind of aura you want when people put it on valedictorian? What do you want it to say?
I think largely what we're going for is we're trying to blend professionalism with streetwear.
Oh, man.
Because a lot of the times people they'll see you going around and they'll see you okay, you're wearing a black hoodie, that's okay. And then if you're wearing a black hoodie that has a bunch of graphics on it, there's a certain perception okay, that's not as clean, or that doesn't look as good, or it's tacky, that sort of thing. We're kind of breaking that barrier down so that, yeah, I could wear a black hoodie, but because I have this V on my chest and because it's valedictorian, it means something more. I'm still a professional, treat me like a professional, that sort of thing.
So you want to change the culture, the mindset, break up constructs with people and all that. You break all these barriers.
Yeah.
So where do people get, what are some of the things that have anyone discouraged you from being an entrepreneur, or it's hard, it's difficult, and the things that you're doing? How are you able to come over those psychological hurdles with the things that you're doing? And some of your friends that you have grown up in the Bronx and Bridgeport, have you ever went back and kind of talked to them about those things?
Yeah, it kind of gets into a sort of thing where, and it's funny that now that I'm thinking of it, the only thing that comes to mind is a quote from J. Cole, but if people don't know your dreams, they can't shoot it down. So I'll share this sort of thing with people that are close to me, whose opinions I value the most. And because I know it doesn't bother them, it's fine by me. I'm open to discuss that with them on any level. And that's not something I could do with everybody, but I mean that just comes to having a good group of people around you, like Aaron and Kai and Sheree.
So guard your dreams from dream snatchers, and that's a great point. Well, as we close, and I want to get this on camera again. What's the email address, man? People can and the Facebook and all those social media outlets. People can get in contact with you.
Well, for the clothing line, you could reach us at valedictorianllc@gmail.com. And then on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, valedictorian_LLC. You get to us.
Man, once again, we have ran out of time. We really appreciate Richard coming to the set. We ask you to once again tune in with 28 Days, where we celebrate our history, our heritage, our culture, and our own authentic voice. And as promised, we're going to continue to bring good guests to the set. And we really appreciate you coming to the set, Rich.
Glad to be here.
Good stuff, man.